Welcome to Gathering the Roll. It's December 8th, 2017. This should have been on December 5th, but I was sick, so I've rescheduled it for today. I hope everybody is having, as I said, a fine and great day and is ready for some exciting news in the world of tabletop. We have a lot of interesting stories to talk about to you, just some information to review to you, let you know what's going on in the various aspects of tabletop news, from collectible card games to role-playing games, board games, card games, party games, and even some upcoming Kickstarters that if you're interested in supporting, you can check out now. Why don't, of course, we dive into the news with some Magic the Gathering news in, of course, our CCG binder to start out with, as every week we do. So let's dive into that. Bam! So we actually have two Grand Prix over this weekend that are coming up. So technically you could be starting now. Again, sick, so missed a lot of the news here. There's one in Oklahoma City, a modern constructed that you can join in. It starts today, goes through Sunday. So there is still registration still available technically. So if you're in the Oklahoma area and you can join in, and you might be late for a little bit of the main event, you could join them now, in fact. Also, this weekend is the Grand Prix Madrid, which is a team modern tournament that's going on. So that's in Madrid, Spain. Online registration is was until midnight Thursday at 7th, so you've missed that one there. Granted, there is some on-site registration that you might be able to still get into. Not a lot of time left now, but there is a little bit of time left on the on-site registration, just the same with the Oklahoma City one. So if you have a team that wants to play some modern, this might be what you want to check out and get into it now, of course. But let's move on, because there is some more news. The Great Designer Search 3. So, starting from December 5th, so a couple days ago, and going on through January 16th, you can try to sign up for the Great Designer Search for Magic the Gathering. So, it's a contest where participants try to get a 6-month internship as a Magic the Gathering designer. They'll send you some essay questions, some information that each question will require you to answer 250 to 350 words. You return them. There are multiple choice tests, a lot of stuff that will put down the number of possible people entering into this down to a number of contestants, who then will be cut down and eliminated down to one, who will end up as the person winning this opportunity to end of it. So there's going to be 5 challenges in which 3 contests will remain, and all 3 will be sent to Wizards for a day-long challenge. So out of all these big 5 challenges, you're going to be eliminating a whole bunch of them down, cutting down the numbers until they're ready for those final 3, and one will have this opportunity that you have to be a resident of the U.S. and over 18 in order to participate in. So those are the important facts about this. So this is, unfortunately, if you're worldly, not for the worldly, but if you do want to, if you are interested in some game design, this might be for you, getting an internship at Magic. Let's still move on to the RCCG binder, to some Card Fight Vanguard news. So a new booster pack, Card Fight Vanguard G Booster Volume 6, Rondu of Chaos and Salvation. I was hoping I would not butcher that one there. So these are very first clan boosters for Link Joker, which is a various clan with infamy aside connected to it in the Card Fight Vanguard universe. I watched the anime for a while and at least knew about what Link Joker was. So, give me that much. I haven't watched in years. Anyway, a Messiah deck could be constructed with this product, as long as a Star Vader deck could be built with the Chaos Breaker. So there's a lot of things that open up to your deck construction here, with the idea of Chaos and Salvation both existing within the deck. So, yeah. There are 4 types of reissue cards and 4 types of special issue cards. There are 45 types of cards total, 41 new ones, the 4 reissues, It's going to be one pack containing 7 cards. Each display box will contain 12 packs. It is released now. It was released as the 1st of this month. So, and 2 cards in every pack will be R or above rarity. So, if you like Cardfight Vanguard, and you want to check it out now, as it is one of the large card games out there, you can check out this new packs now. But let's move on, because our RPG bookshelf has some stuff coming up in it that we want to talk about. And let's start with Pathfinder. So this is going to be the Ruins of Aslant Adventure Path, the 5th adventure in said adventure path. So we are already on 5 adventures in. And this is Tower of the Drowned Dead. It's for 13th level characters. It does have some secrets of the Shattered Concepts of Aslant and their information here. Things about various ruins, new bestiaries on aquatic adventures, and the party of heroes learn of a powerful and ancient enemy planning on stealing a doomsday weapon and use it against humanity, or basically the races of the world, the civilization. And the adventurers visit a ruined undersea tower belonging to the undead survivors of the cataclysm that destroyed Aslant. And they're in pursuit of this person trying to get the doomsday weapon, get the tower's magical defenses running, and and go through the undead occupants through the judge's defenses, locate the various facilities, confront the person that's trying to do this, or end up dead in the tower. So it's an adventure that you can check out now. Also out is a companion book, Potions and Poisons, which is, well, all about that. It's got some feats and archetypes for races with affinities for poisons. It's got archetypes for a variety of classes known for brewing and poisoning, including alchemists, rogues, and witches. The races are things like Grippleys, Nagaji, Vishkanias, and the Scorpion Sorcerer Bloodvine. There's spells and feats specializing potion brewing a little bit more for things like drugs, elixirs, gears, poisons, tinctures, alchemical remedies to produce potent effects but do an appearance on the user. So it's sort of like a potion, but less magical, and they give you a bonus yet a deficit. So if you want this book now, it is available. The PDF, the print edition is available now. The PDF will be available a little into next week. Alright, we do have some Starfinder news though, because Starfinder likes to have some news too. So Starfinder Adventures, we are in the Dead Suns Adventure Path, the first adventure path for Starfinders, and we have the adventure Splintered World. So this is for 5th level Starfinder characters. It has a gazette on Eox, the planet of the dead, so if you want to know a little bit more about that, details on the exiled corpse fleet, the rogue undead navy of Eox, which tries to murder everybody, and basically is like undead first, an archive of some strange alien creatures, both living and undead, and statistics for and plans for some new starship types. So it's tracking the cult of the Devourer. The heroes travel to the asteroid world called the Dysphoria, face some space pirates, some dangers there, and they learn that the Field of Lost takes them to the dead world of Eox. Alright, where they must survive the undead inhabitants and the agents of the disavowed corpse fleet, and basically defeat the Devourer cult. And the alien super weapon that they're trying to attain. So if you like your Starfinder games and you've already tried out this adventure path, you can dive into this next adventure in it now. Now also out is a Starfinder Society scenario, the 6th one, a Knight in Night Arc. So this is designed for 3 to 6th level. A routine business deal goes awry as a spiteful drowned noble seizes a shipment of weapons that were for the Starfinder Society, and the PCs are sent to the gloomy world of a poste to retrieve the stolen arms. They have 24 hours of diplomatic immunity for any actions taken against the thief. And these PCs, you have to strike at this rebellious drowned noble, retrieve the shipment, get the weapons back. If you're using guile, force, however you want to, you have to prove that the Starfinder Society should not be messed with. And this is your way of doing it, to bash into them and take them down. Alright. So, we have the 100 Oddities for a sewer book. So, GMs send players to all kinds of unusual places, and, well, sewers is one of them that actually ends up. So this is Skirmishers Publishing best-selling 100 Odysseys series of universal mini source books. Basically, source books for multiple different systems that you can throw together some different unusual things for various things. And this is involving, well, sewers. And it talks about, you know, like rat-slaying forays, for fledgling heroes, to monsters, beasts that dwell down in sewers, things that can keep adventurers busy. Traveling below, intervening in the place, maybe criminal elements are down there, hideouts. Sewers have existed for long periods of time and in different versions. You can do ancient, modern, and futuristics for some of these things. The same sewer could be in all three, they say, you know. Post-apocalyptic settings. They have a lot of information for 100 great different strange things that you could find in these various sewers for a lot of different systems. So it's effectively concepts and ideas that are unique and interesting for you to bring in for your game mastering / dungeon mastering. So if you are interested, if you've checked out any of the other 100 Odyssey series, or if you are new to it, you can check it out now and see if maybe some of the other books will also help you out in your various things. It's available for PDF for $2. $2 for a PDF if you want to check it out. Alright. Modifius, my god, I got them right, I think, has released Conan the Mercenary. So this is yet another thing that Conan has been. We previously talked about this show that Conan was a thief, and Conan was a barbarian king, and Conan's done a lot of stuff over the course of all his adventures in Hyboria, and he was a mercenary too! It's a time of war in Hyboria, and there's armies of kings and queens mustering a battlefield alone, and basically Conan and the characters from your Conan adventures could join in these battlefields to kill for money, sport for whatever reasons that they want to. You can join legendary mercenary companies, support revolts, or fight for the throne. Your motives could be anything from gold to jewels to praise from the gods, anything. There's lots of different reasons to join in the battle and become a mercenary for various groups. Records of the battles are the only testament to these many people. So you join these people in battle with new archetypes, talents, and equipment to create your own mercenary characters, companies, and skill needed to conquer your enemies. It has a gazetteer, I'm probably butchering that still, covering locations of the Conan worlds where rulers attempt to take and maintain thrones. Basically, places of war. They have some information about these various places, and some things that you might need to learn about for doing the various mercenary work that you need to. So Conan the Mercenary is in fact available now. Also out is finally released by Fantasy Flight Games is the Genesis? I'm probably once again butchering stuff. RPG system. Most RPGs are set in medieval like specific times and places. Genesis is a system with a set of rules that you can play anywhere, anytime, any theme, and it's available for Fantasy Flight. It's basically, you could have super rocket launchers you're fighting supernatural vampires with, starships in intergalactic war, exploring the depths of an ancient lost city. It's the Genesis role-playing game system. A core rulebook is now available. You can create your own setting with this one, and it doesn't limit it to just one sort of like time and type of setting. It opens it up to a lot of different things for your players to fall into, to go into. So you could do anything from like a weird Wild West tale to mad dictatorships in the far future to traditional, more fantasy basically things. Genesis is supposed to be giving tools to you for a personal playground for you to jump into this system. So it uses a narrative dice system, a skill check system designed not to let you know when the character succeeds or fails, but the side effects that always occur. It has its own unique sets of dice of D6s, D8s, and D12s with their own symbols on them. And every time the character shakes a child, they'll roll some combination of ability and difficulty dice, that is their dice pool, and their various unique skills and characteristics provide successes and advantages to these various difficulties, and seeing how the threats and failures end up. You know, there's a lot of different navigations to the way that this does it a little bit. Wow. English. They do have a dice app on the Google Play Store and the iTunes App Store, so you don't even have to worry about buying some of your own dice if you don't need to, because they do have your own unique ones, so you can use a dice rolling app for it, for the Genesis system. They have their own basic character creations, talks about social conflict, magic, and spells if you want to add it into your setting. There's a lot of stuff there that focuses on some of the various tones you can add in, from, you know, horror twisted, modern, to mysterious sci-fi, to some kind of fantasy. Whatever you want to do in the Genesis system, it's supposed to be able to open you up to that. And their core rule book is available now and at local retailers. So if you want to check out a new gaming system and see if it's up your alley, you can check it out now. So we have Gamma Turquoise Santa Fe Starport. Woo! So, Premade Adventures can help you as a GM, and this is a scenario for that. It has different locations, NPC, gear. It is designed for the Alpha Blue and Crimson Dragon Slayer. No, sorry. It's designed by Alpha Blue and Crimson Dragon Slayer, a new adventure designed by them. And it's a mostly system-neutral adventure, but it's good with sci-fi, post-apocalyptic RPGs you might want to use it in. So that's the important stuff about it. It's a basic adventure that's being put together and gives some information that you could use to build it into your sci-fi / post-apocalyptic world RPGs, whichever system you want to particularly use it with. Sets up a lot of tables, some random tables, artwork, humor, references, things like that. A lot of put together. They do want you to use it with things like gonzo fantasy, sci-fi, post-apocalyptic RPGs. These are what works best and fits with it. With the bits and pieces they do provide, and you're just going to have to put together the rest of the material from the actual game material. There's maps of areas, a Sidewinder vehicle, like kind of information about it, layout. They're on separate giant files that can be printed out in very large scale. It's kind of like a southwestern post-apocalyptic shade that they're putting together just by kind of looking at the cover there. And that's what they are providing that you can get now. Sorry. Let me get my drink again for a second, because thirsty, and, you know. Part 2. So it's available for $6.66, if you want to get it now. We have Save the Day Superpowered RPG, the Advanced Rulebook. Okay. So, it's a superhero RPG, of course, and Save the Day is one of them. This is the new Advanced Rulebook. This is if you want a little bit more nitty-gritty to your comic book action. This is what it's supposed to be for. It expands the options availability for character creations with limits on origins and class. It provides systems for tweaking existing powers to make them more individual and unique. Fine-tuning various things that you can do both on the player side and game master side. Rules are helped to create consistent gear and vehicles, as well as robots, hidden bases. There's real-world examples to game terms to help you understand scale of different things and how things should work in your world. And finally, there's some guidelines for running some more free-form Theater of the Mind campaigns, kind of moving away from some of the dice and some of the character sheets and stuff like that, to help you use a little bit more imagination if you want to do that. And you do have to have the Save the Day RPG to play it, of course. So if you have this RPG already, or you're interested in checking out a superhero RPG, this might be what you want to check out, as it is a new advanced book for one of them to check out now. Okay. Let's move on from our bookshelf to our card game desk with, let's go to, which one of these is card game? Sorry, breaking myself a little bit there. I don't think we have any actual card games, as I could call them. So let's move on to our board game. Our board game pile. With, of course, Yummy World. Party Picnic Palace. Alright. So, this is an interesting game. Technically, I guess this is a card game. So, this is a new card game from the people that brought you Sushi Go. So set hot the magical sprinkle tree, the Party Picnic Palace is where food and fun and fresh-baked friendships adventures meet. So you invite your many food friends as possible, score points based on who you draw. It's for 3 to 4 players. Each person gets 3 invitations, 4 for a 2-player game, which they use to build up points. Cards are laid out face down in long rows of 9 to 12 cards, depending on the number of players. During each turn, the player can choose a variety of actions. One action as a player can flip over a card to reveal which character is underneath. This helps to see who's on the board, but also sets players up to score points. Another action is to use one invitation to pick an entire row of face-up characters. Each character is worth a certain number of points, so choose wisely. Third action is available is to use the Holy Pickle card, which allows players to take any card without using an invitation. Once players have filled their invitation cards, the points are recorded and a new round begins. Discard all cards that were used, reset the board with new upside down cards, beginning inviting friends. After 3 rounds, whoever has the most points wins. So a very simple little game about inviting your food friends to a party at the palace on top of a tree. And yeah, that's it. Simple, a little weird, a little quirky. It's pretty much what you expect from the people that brought us Sushi Go. That's the best way to say it. So yeah, 3 to 5 players, or technically 2 to 4 players, with special 2-player variation. Normally 3 to 4. 30 minutes to play. You know, available now to pick up. All right, out now is Smile. So, Fireflies are almost guaranteed to bring a smile, especially the creatures of the forest who think their big light-up butts are super tasty. So it's a card game from Z-Man Games where you collect fireflies in the forest to gather the animals within. But be careful, there are those that only want your fireflies and actually don't want to go with you. So outbid your opponents for the best creatures and come up with the most points. So it's the dark forest, you're gathering around your creatures. They're trying to scuttle away from you for 3 to 5 players, entering the woods and hunting out the cute critters there that you really want to get, and using the fireflies to sort of capture them. There's another little cute, little interesting one where you have to be careful what you use. There's a 50 card, there are 50 cards of critters ranging from -5 points to 6 points. So you want to be careful about what you really gather, because something could be worth little points. And there are games 10 rounds. You have a chance to attract valuable critters to your side by bidding fireflies, placing fireflies on the critter with the lowest value to keep you in the running and the most valuable critters. And the bugs go quickly. You can always back out of a round and collect a card and at least a firefly on it. Fireflies you collect this way are yours to spend in layer rounds. The cards you take this way could deduct points from your score. You always have to be careful you have enough fireflies and get them carefully. So, Smile. Alright. Also out now is the Fallout board game. Hey. So, it's about Fallout. That's the easiest way to say it. It's Fallout themed. You know, you have to deal with the post-apocalyptic. You know, chill runs through the air. Maybe you have to worry about death claws. You have to worry about getting some power armor, some different things. There's all kinds of gears you can throw together. Shoot at weapons. Dealing with animal threads, robotics that you can have. Be the local leader. Chemicals. There's all kinds of different cards you can use. So it's all about surviving the wasteland. And that's the easiest way of saying it. because guess what? It's Fallout. If you're not familiar with Fallout, it's a nuclear post-apocalyptic wasteland with a 1950s kind of feel to it, as if technology continued to evolve from the 1950s, but kept a lot of the same feel of it. So it's an adventure game for 1 to 4 players. The Fallout scenario is inspired by familiar story from the franchise. Survivor been the game at the edge of an unexplored landscape, uncertain what they find. There's just one objective to guide them from the very beginning. You explore the hidden map, fight enemies, build your skills as your survivor, complete challenges, gain equipment, balancing between feuding factions. As you advance your survivor's story, players will come across new quests, target individuals, have you gain influence. A lot of different levels to it that you can develop. And it's for 2 to 3 hours, 1 to 4 players. Has its own various kind of character creation to it, scenarios and quests that you can use. 159 card library of items. Yeah, it's a lot. And each scenario's story will be told differently. So it's got a number of scenarios. Probably you can do custom scenarios. Probably support buying more scenarios later on in the future. But for now, if you want to try out the Fallout board game, it is available. Well, I didn't want to go that far forward because that messes with what we're going to go to. Alright, let's talk about who should we eat. Well, you're on a desert island and there's nothing to eat. There's nothing you can find. Maybe you can find some coconuts, but resources are scarce. And now it's a Donner Party kind of thing. That's where Who Should You Eat comes in. It's a survival game where you're probably going to eat someone. Yep. So it's for 4 to 10 survivors. You're on a plane crash and you have to basically resort to cannibalism, but way too fast than you really should, on this stranded desert island. And you kind of have to go gather food. You might find material for a raft to escape, but you have to also kind of hold on to your sanity while fighting ghosts and hunger on this island. And as I said, it's for 4 to 10 players, 30 minutes to play. It has 12 character cards, 100 food, sanity, build, and ghost cards, 9 long straws, 1 short straw. Basically, you know what that's for. A wooden conch, and a board of markers to keep track of sanity, food, and raft building. So it is all about, you know, surviving, bringing back the supplies, dealing with the threats of the island, and not being the one to get eaten. Or the ones to get eaten and escaping in the end. So Who Should We Eat is an interesting kind of combination of those cooperative kind of style games, but still have this level of competition as, you know, people are trying to eat each other and result to cannibalism. So, heck. Also out now is, of course, the next Time Stories, Estella Drive. It is available now. It's Hollywood, basically. Think of the old-time Hollywood, 1982 at this point in time. You and your fellow time agents are investigating a time anomaly with a supposedly haunted mansion in 1982. Pretty simple setup. It's definitely got mature audience for its themes. It's for the Time Stories game, so if you have Time Stories, you want it, or you need Time Stories. If you've played... This is the 6th expansion, so you could have played through all of these adventures up until now. Or you could particularly play through this one on its own. Up to you how you want to do it. You do require the base Time Story set, regardless if this is going to be your first Time Story or not. I would recommend trying the one in the original box out first before you move on to this one, even if this one's the second one you do. But Time Stories Interstellar Drive, with a kind of interesting old-timey Hollywood feel to it, is available now. And finally, we do have something in the party game closet. If I can get to it. There we go. Word Minds. The party game is available now. So, you know, we that play games are pretty social critters, in a way. Granted, we might not go out to big parties, big clubs, but we want to play with each other various board games. We want to have a good fun time with our various friends, whether online or offline, playing our games, RPG, CCG, whatever. We like to do it. This place we might hang out is a dark basement sometimes, or someone's living room, or a dining room table, but we still like doing games with other gamers, and Word Mines is a party game about guessing keywords without using forbidden words. So, it's a spastic word guessing game with hilarious and raunchy edge. You're supposed to learn a word or two. It's going to have a little bit of education because you're not going to know every word that they're mentioning, the executives. It's for 4+ players, 250 cards in here. They're planning for expansion packs, which they will take ideas for words and concepts if you want to in the expansion packs. So it's a pretty simple thing. You know, you split evenly into 2 teams, hand the deck to the first clue giver. Clue givers give clues, guessers guess, score as many pipes possible, shoot for the moon, pass the deck to the other team. Basically, every time you do the teams, one person's the clue giver, the others is the guesser. Because remember, you can do it with 4 players, so you can have clue giver, guesser on each team. And you keep repeating until all the players have been the clue giver, and then the team with the most points wins. Simple. And you could probably go for more extra rounds of clue givers if you really wanted to, and switch up teams and various things like that to give a little bit of variety to your game, to the versions of the game you're playing. All right, let's move on to our Kickstart display with our first one today, Those Damn Goblins. So it's a 5e compatible. Well, it's compatible with 5e and a couple other things here. It seemed like a nice place, but a valley had a little bit of a swamp problem that couldn't be fixed with a little dam. And turned out to be a little productive agriculturally, but there's rumbling in the hills and the valleys, and it's goblins. So it's a new fantasy adventure that is available for various systems, so it can be it. So this was a marsh-covered valley that they changed into fertile cropland if they basically dammed it and drained the river. But diverting the river has awoken the cliffs basically themselves and filled it with goblins. So this fertile valley now has to be saved from various goblins. So this is an adventure for 4 to 6 characters from levels 1 to 3, and it's supposed to have an old school flavor of D&D to it, even though you can use it for 5th edition. So it has been funded. Good news. 7 days remaining. It is working on some of their stretch goals. As I said, it's not just 5th edition compatible. It could be used with BECMI or B/X with the 5th edition rules. They have their own art. They have hit the full color funding that they wanted, so they are going to do a full color book now. The next thing is freeform fillable character sheets and a special guest author if they hit 4,000, which they haven't done. They've hit the second one, the 2,000, the freeform character sheets, freeform fillable character sheets. So they have done a bunch of different things putting it together. They may or may not hit that last Kickstarter level of the special guest artist that they want to, or guest author to add in a little bit to their adventure as they're doing it. But this is basically a simple little adventure with an interesting little idea for 5th edition, or basically for some other tabletop role-playing compatible stuff that you just, you know, are saving a farming valley from goblins. Pretty simple, pretty straight to the pretty point. Okay, next up is Masters and Minions, a 5th edition supplement is up on Kickstarter. So, 21 days to go. They are just funded. So they haven't worked on any stretch goals. They are successfully funded. If you want to join it now, hey, they've already hit that goal that they had for funding it. Pretty simple, pretty up there. So, very few villains work alone. Oftentimes they're leaders of things like criminal organizations. They have hordes of underlings. Necromancers have hordes of undead. Dragons have their minions and their, you know, servants and things. Cult leaders have cultists. So this is what this is all about. Servants, basically. Minions. It gives GM stats and rules for using NPCs and villains along with their followers in your games. It's basically because as a dungeon master or game master, sometimes you run out of time throwing together a lot of different things. And this is a basically shortcut. That's the easiest way of saving time on game time for preparations. You know, proper XP per level for characters, things like that that you really have to worry about, you can focus on, and some of the other content that you basically have some deep ideas of, but you don't want to hash out all the numbers for, you can use this for. This is effectively what it is, helping with prep time. It's new content that is going to help you develop bosses and followers that it's basically drag and drop into an existing game with a lot of their things. And they've got content that spans from levels 1 to 20, so you could provide content with your players as they level up. So there's a lot of different things you could throw together for it. So as I said, they have been successfully funded, and they are planning for... They got some interesting art here. Can't lie to that. They've got some great illustrations there. And it will feature, of course, encounters from levels 1 to 20, divided into levels 1 to 3, 4 to 7, 8 to 10, etc. Lore description on each master and how to use their minions. Some extra content. New detailed NPCs and stuff. In-depth settings. Layers, things like that. Different pledge levels give you different things, including PDF copies, hard copies of the books there. They do have some stretch goals that are being worked on. They've unlocked another master, basically. They've hit the 16,000 goal. More map locations and new masters and minions are the stretch goals that they have that they will be adding to the book. And that's basically what they're working on now. If you want to support them and pledge them, and you want to check out this interesting supplement now. Alright, let's continue with our Kickstarter display with yet another one, The Beast Below, which is it's the 5th edition D&D adventure module. Yep. Pretty simple as that. Okay. So, it's a 5th edition adventure for characters 1 to 1st level. We're having a bunch of these here, and they're all seemingly getting funded. So, great news on them. They are funded. They only wanted a small pledge here, let me tell you that. And so they have hit their pledge goal plus some. They have 13 days to go. So good news is, yes. Alright, so it's a mini fantasy role-playing adventure designed for 6 to 8 5th edition D&D characters. So it is a large band of players. Let me know you that there. The Beast Below is designed for 6 to 8 characters of levels 1st to 3rd. Interesting little there. Focus on town Barrowash that's ransacked by a terrible beast that appears out of nowhere. And the characters have to, of course, deal with the beast below. The ruins that can be found under Barrowash itself. Yep. And there's also some proper attire in Informer Gal featuring treachery. Yes, there's lots of interesting things about this adventure. A little more details. It's going to be 20 to 24 pages in length, 15 encounter areas, 4 black and white interior illustrations, a colored cave, 2 new monsters, map of buildings, tunnels, and ruins to explore, a summary of the most interesting locations, the town of Barrowash, and you get the PDF for $5. You can get for $10 their PDF plus a couple other PDF adventures that they have produced before. $12 will get you the soft cover book, and from there they get other combinations of various different things for rewards. Okay, they do have some stretch goals that have been totally unlocked here, too. Good news on that one. The colored back illustration, full page black and white illustrations. The custom 5e character sheets has not been funded, but is actually relatively close to that, and they might hit it in their 13 days left. So that's one of the stretch goals that they might get on. Plus, there might be more black and white illustrations, and there are more stretch goals to go as soon as they hit this next stretch goal, which they are approaching. They've locked a couple away still. So they still have a lot more ideas of what they want to do to produce and put out there for this adventure, which is funded. So you can get this adventure now. So this is yet another one. So we're 3 through 3 on funding so far. A little interesting thing to say. I don't think all of the ones today are funded, but a couple of them are. A bunch of them are. Let's talk about Carnum, the RPG system. It's an Arabian Nights adventure world of deserts, dragons, and crusaders. We're funded again. So this is Mindjammer Press putting out this one here. They just... actually, no. They aren't funded actually yet. Sorry. They are scantily away from being funded. When I say scantly, of their 20,000 plus goal, they are less than 150. They're like 150 away. They are barely not funded, with 9 days to go. So, yeah, they are close. So this is definitely an Arabian Nights themed thing. That's the easiest way to say it, and it's the people that brought us Mindjammer Press. Yeah, so we've talked about Mindjammer here on before. So it's Carthonium, the Tales of the Dragon Marked. Has a game for 0 to hero characters who have been marked by destiny by gods and dragons, find themselves in a fantasy Mediterranean world of Middle Eastern culture, ancient world city-states, crusading westerners, magical dragon riders, and more that they can face out. So, originally a French RPG, Carthon was translated into English by a specialized team over at Mindjammer's Press, and they have then since taken that unique fantasy Europe vibe and moved it into a fantastic version of Arabian Peninsula with spectacular and deep cultures, a huge scope of internal conflict and adventure. It's to transcend petty national conflicts, discover their own destinies, create their own agendas in a turbulent and magical world. They have beautiful artwork and cartography, a bestiary of exotic foes and monsters inspired by Middle Eastern legends, inspiring improvisational magic system, the Tarmla Helga or divine combinations, backgrounds for 4 playable cultures, a roll and keep dice system and genre specific features, dragon dice, light up, constellation, swaggering, past schools, secret cults, and societies for your characters to keep the road of greatness, a deep history of thousand fears, everything you need in fantasy, Mediterranean RPG thing. A 44-page quick start, The Tears of Emperor, is already available for free download. So you can get a quick start as part of this. For free to try it out. Whew. It will be a 400-page hardcore book. That for $20 you get the PDF version of it. And for $40 you get the book and the PDF. And you can get the quick start now. Check it out. See if you're interested in this. They have a bunch of stretch goals which they could still reach. As I said, they are about to hit their goal. And this includes some special extra PDFs, a full color to the core book, lots of different things that they want to plan out. They have 9 days to go, so they very easily could, at this point in time, hit the basic goal and keep going. So, if you want to check this out now, the Kickstarter's up. New Aether, another RPG Kickstarter. This one is, guess what? Funded with 12 days to go. It's mechanics, mutations, and magics. It's a game of video game RPG adventures in a tabletop setting. That's the easiest way of it. You get mutated, grease your robot. You get mutated, grease your robot arm, get your spells ready. It's time for an adventure. So that's what it basically is. You're playing a tabletop RPG, but you're in a video game RPG world. So it's a fantasy setting like you'd see in those video game RPGs, but not all is right in the world. And as it seeps in, like this Aether seeps into the landscape and people and things are changed, and how will you stop it? So it is definitely more like a video game, the traditional tabletop RPGs. Farmers have an infinite supply of bread and cheese wheels to sell, even though their farms only see to grow a small patch of wheat. And they just have one cow. You can travel through wicked woods filled with wishes and house animal sermons, raid old temples that have a history beyond the known world, and get away with incredible treasures. And of course there's the Aether that's wrong with the world. It slips through the thousands of floating islands in the world, altering its inhabitants in a strange way. Lost rooms are regrown with new forms, bodies are overcome with strange oozing goo, powerful spells suddenly spark to life in hands of never before seen magic. So you take up your mutations, your magic, affects your equipment, get ready your mechanical augmentations, and adventure. So, it has been funded. It, that's an easy way to say it. You can get the PDF for $5 of the book, and it is funded now. So if you're interested in trying out this like video game version things, they're working on stretch goals now. As I said, hit the funding. They're very close to their first stretch goal. $10 away from Bestiary have extended 10 monsters beyond the intended 36 they have for their world. They will expand the world's island section for another 500, from 20 to 30 islands. And if they hit 2,000, they will increase the options for mutations and magics and mechanics by 10. So there's lots of new things to do. They have a couple of add-ons to do, different backer levels. You can get a hard copy of the book if you really want to, or the PDF. Your choice when you want to check out. It's up now, and as I said, it is funded. Okay, let's move to one that hasn't been funded yet. Drinkistation. Drinkistation, a party game for drunken geniuses, basically. So, 37 days to go, so they are barely into their thing, and they're about a tenth of the way funded. If we were going to have, like, everyone funded this episode, that would have been interesting. Alright, so. This is a concept that's bringing together drinking and answering questions. It's a party game for people that kind of like getting drunk. It's a testing knowledge on various subjects, and it's about a lot of that useless information that we have on our brains. 10 bits of general Navian trivia that, you know, maybe a little bit of drinking helps bring forth to the top. Whether it's beer, wine, cider, cocktails, you drink, you take some fun, you answer some questions, you handpick over a lot of questions that they've picked over a 2-year process beginning to get this thing together for this. It's all about answering those questions and getting things together and having a good time. So it is a trivia party game with the concept of drinking as a core part of it. So if there's a game that you're interested that's right up your alley, I would recommend checking it out now. Alright, let's talk about one that's not technically on Kickstarter, but is being sort of kickstarted up on Indiegogo, is Battle of the Golems. It is currently not funded. It has, 3 days left, and I would say if we can get a big hush on it, it might be able to raise enough capital. I am unsure at this point in time. It is not far into its funding. Didn't see it had 3 days left, folks. Did not see it had 3 days left. If you want to try supporting it, it could be. So it's a tabletop game that allows you to simply learn easy programming and robotics without a computer. It's all about some various basic concepts that robotics and programming would have, and learning it together. For 2 to 4 players, 8+. It's basically logic, memory, and team interaction. And it's a pretty simple concept for a board game. A little different. I'm going to leave it at that because it is one that we probably should not have high hopes of getting a finish success here, but it might still. Might get a big old funding at some point soon. So, can't guarantee it might not. Alright, let's talk about Sky Relic Fleet Corps. Here's one that's not been funded, but very easily could be. We are 2/3 of the way funded of this one with 25 days to go, so quite a bit of time. It's a tabletop battle fleet game with players take commands of fleets of Iron Hawks and do battles of the skies for the glory of their nation, or just glory and glory or for their nation. That was a weird way of saying it. Yes. So, so it's being like a charge of kind of starfighters or sky fighters and stuff. It's a new fleet battle miniatures game. You take command of fleets of battle the skies over the nation. Iron Sky Hawks soar over the clouds, hunting the next battle With their barrels heat up with shells ripping through the air, slamming into the heavy armor of their enemies. Life and death about the skies. Two-player core... this exciting Sky Relic 2-player core box set launches 2 mighty opposing factions with materials you need to wage epic battles, including crafted ship miniatures with fight stands indicating firing arcs. So, this is another miniatures-based game, but it's got its own kind of... it's a 2-player version of it with its own kinds of boards and stuff that you can set up. It uses 10-sided dice to determine success for firing and targeting other opponents. It's got a full rule book with complete rules of the 2 starting factions and the game world that they're in, the various things that their fleet are going to have. As I said, it's got its old different miniatures that it has. It will have 14 detailed shift miniatures in the box. And some ship cards and variations and ship bases and firing arcs. Whew. A bunch of little stuff that you can throw together. And the rule book, of course. And some 8D10. A bunch of D10s, D6s, and D8s. Because D10s are the main things, but sometimes use D6s and D8s for other various things that you would do. Mod crew cards, ship cards, as I said, the various ship things. A hex tiles with printed, hex tile print for hex tile battles is what it's going to be at. So, on the basic level, you can get just 1 fleet for $40 and the rules. For $75, you get the rules and the starter set. Simple as that. Those are the 2 basic ones. They have more higher tier goals, of course. They have their own stretch goals, which they haven't reached yet. But if you want to back this project and you're interested in another sort of miniature style board game, 2-player, this one being all about 2 factions sky battling, which of course you can get more. Eventually they might get more different types of factions and things added on as they expand their mythos and stuff. You can check it out now. It's available and it looks like it could very easily be funded. Alright, let's talk about one that's also not funded. Hey, we went through all the funded ones and we're hitting a bunch of the not funded ones here. Anyway, Dumb Thumb. It's about 50% funded with 9 days to go. I can still hit it. Maybe if you're interested in it. So, this is about rhyming. It's a rhyming card game. Very easily. If you're seeking a chilled thrill about... Okay, I'm not going to go into the rhymes that they have in information about these. I started doing it when I was trying to recite it there. It's basically casual addictive, rewards you for assigning words together that have nothing in common except that they sound similar. That's it. It's played by coming up with 2 words that rhyme, like weird beard, for example, and giving clues to your friends to help you guess, which you might say strange facial hair. The game includes the game includes 250 rhyming of various difficult, easy peasy, middle riddle, and tough stuff. So it's quick to pick up, impossible to set down, they say, because some words were just meant to be together. Alright, so for $5 you get a PDF copy. They have still some limited backer versions, so you can get a hard copy of it for $20 now for the early bird. It's for 2 to 10 players, 15 minutes to play, 14 plus age has to be. It's basically putting together some things, draw a rhyme card, give a descriptive hint or hittle, and the person has to guess the rhyme. Increase the difficulty based on the upper corner lines of each card. There you go. Pretty simple, pretty interesting. It's a little party game you might want to check out. Now, hey, let's move on to something that's actually been funded again. Whatever. It's a party game. It's a party game for normal people that like to get weird occasionally. It's funded. 9 days to go. It hit its funding just a little bit ago. So it's one that's, oh my god, it's Allentown, PA it's being produced in. Heck, wow, that's close to me. Within driving distance of me. Isn't that an interesting one? That's a group I might want to drop a line to. That's another entire thing entirely. That's another thing entirely, though. So 2 lifelong friends have brought together a lighthearted game to the market to help you people have fun and let loose in a world of creative worlds. It's a truth or dare based party game for adults that combines a little bit of adult humor with some not so adult activities. Pretty simple little concept there You know. So you sit around a table with a spinner and 3 decks in the middle. One person spins to determine the fate, whether it's a challenge or showdown. Challenge is to dare. You must compete alone, which it could be like text 3 friends not in the game, insinuating that you are either pregnant or got someone pregnant. Showdown is a dare to get you to head-to-head against one other player, which is insult battle. Find the oldest player in the room and go back and forth, each exchanging 3 insults. The group picks who is more brutal and worthy of the win. Complete the game, complete the card, and keep it. First to 5 cards wins. Pretty simple little interesting thing there. So, 1 game for 25. 200 cards, the spinner instructions. More games, make your card stuff. 6 games, there's a lot of different things to get it. Some stretch goals for things like t-shirts, custom designed Kickstarter only box for backers, various things like that. Whew. Yep. And it is, of course, up on Kickstarter now. It is funded. If you're interested in checking out this little party game, you can. Here's another one that's... Oh, God. We're back to the funded group. Endora Battlefields. Combines drafting, area control, dice combat into exciting battle race game for 2 to 4 players. It's funded. It's 3 days to go. So, whoa, you got very little time left if you want to try to jump in on this one. By next week's episode, which will hopefully be back on Tuesday, you will not be able to jump into it. So it requires skillful positioning your units, coordinating the use of their special abilities, managing their resources with a little bit of dice luck. It's easy to learn, intuitive game system where you can jump right in and start playing. It can be taught in less than 5 minutes is what they say. Send lords, wizards, warriors, dragons, trolls into battle. Use powerful spells at the right moment to support your armies and determine the fate of Endora. Whew! Yep. There we go. That's a little bit of English. So, they have some Kickstarter exclusive content. It's for 2 to 4 players. 20 to 45 minutes, too. They've unlocked a couple of things like imp tokens and things like that. Some interesting artwork. I do have to say it does have some very interesting artwork. A game box for 32. God, I do not know. Is that euros? It might be euros. Forgive me if for 32 monedas you get the Endora Battlefields full game, all the unlocked stretch goals, the Kickstarter exclusives, and the wallpaper. Yeah. So for 32, well, for 40 bucks, it's 40 bucks. Or $38 American, 32 euro, I believe. You get a lot of stuff. You get all the special dice, wound marker, gold tokens, unit tokens, 59 monster cards, 58 hero cards, the battlefields, the game box itself, the resurrection spell, magical storm spell, the epic monster set, and the rule book, which you get a digital copy downloadable now. Of course, they have higher pledged tiers for very special things. Add-ons that you can do for things like more dice, some information on their card drafting and game setup, having things like hero phases, attacking, monster phases, various things like that. Talk about winning or losing, some stretch goals that they've been working on, including shares on various different things, and funding. A brand new hero set is going to be unlockable. They might hit that one. They might hit that one. The other stretch goals, hard to say at this point in time because they don't have a lot of days left, but there's a time period that things can pop up good. If you want to check out this Endora Battlefields, an interesting sort of draft-based hero monster battle game, you can check it out now. Alright, whew, we're almost done with the day. Hey, guess what? We've hit another one that's funded. We have most of these were funded today. 12 days to go. Tripods and Triplanes. The War of the Worlds in Wings of Glory. So it's about the alien invasions of H.G. Wells' sci-fi novel Met the Flying Machines and Knights of Air of World War I. Yeah, they have doubled their projected funding as of right now. So that's good information about it. It's the Knights of the Air of World War I battle against colossal fighting machines sent by Martians to invade Earth. Take awesome control of Martian tripods set upon bringing death and destruction to our planet, or flying the most advanced flying machines created by mankind during World War I in order to win the War of the Worlds. It's a standalone game, but it's fully compatible with World War I Wings of Glory collection. So if you're into that kind of thing, it's compatible, or you can play it on its own. And it's all about changing the aerial battles kind of things. So it could be standalone if you really want to. Definitely a good thing about it. Its Wings of Glory is a popular World War I aerial combat tabletop game, and this is basically taking a new twist on it, combining the kind of aerial combat of that with battling against, of course, Martian death machines. Yep, Martian death machines. They have a number of different tripod models that they will be supplying in with this thing here. With a $45 pledge, includes the starter set and all you need to play, and all the stretch goals. A $80 includes the set and all you need to play with the special tripod packs. And you can go up from there and get more stuff as you unlock it. Now, stretch goals. Wow. They have unlocked a game mat, Martian, a solitary gameplay type, World War II, using World War II airplane packs, a version of it there, deluxe energy tokens, new terrain elements dealing with Martians, and they've a special airplane has also been unlocked. So they have a bunch of other ones that are coming up for stretch goals, including more terrain elements, Earth skill cards, and rules and components for have tripods fighting with other tripods. So tripod battles that maybe two Martian factions are competing to destroy Earth, and guess what? They've ran into each other. They both want to conquer Earth. So for 12 days to go, those stretch goals are looking actually relatively possible. The tripod's at 70,000, and they're at 61,000 right now. And so this is an actually interesting take on both World War I aerial combat board game, and taking it with alien battles is actually kind of really cool. I'm really excited about this week's Kickstarters to talk about them some more, or talk about them. So I have one last one I want to talk about. Yep, one last one, because guess what? It's funded. The Kickstarter is over, but there are late pledges, and I never talked about it. So, Wander the Cult of Barnacle Bay. So if you missed out on the Kickstarter campaign, plenty of reasons this could have happened. They're opening it up that you can have late pledges to get some things still part of the Kickstarter campaign right now. They're opening up their system to that. They provide links to which you can use in their Kickstarter page in order to do that. You can follow links and select the Wanderer's Pledge, which includes the base game and all applicable stretch goals that we unlocked during the campaign, as many of the mix, as well as access to many add-ons. So you can get the base game, the stretch goals, and you can get any add-ons you want in the thing as it is. So let's talk about the game itself a little bit. And let me get this cat off my lap. Hey everybody, stream cats in chat. I'm a stream cat in chat. My chat room was being really weird there for a second, apparently. If someone had said something in chat, sorry if I apparently did not see you. Anyway, it's a oh. Wow. I'm gonna drink some more water for a second. So, hero, monster fighting, or creature fighting, tile building kind of game for adventuring. There you go. It's a family-friendly co-op dungeon crawl board game for 1 to 5 players where you work together as heroes of the Wanderers Guild. You've come to Barnacle Bay to sell the territory for the Elder Blaine and the Cult of the Deep. You work together in this choose-your-own-adventure campaign and gain incredible loot, unlock new abilities, and save the town. Fairly simple, fairly interesting. It's funded. They're completed. They're working on getting the product out now. They've just opened up the kind of late game, so to say, joining of people. And so until January 15th next year, you can pledge. So if you're interested in joining with and pledging on this now, at least getting some money in, getting a copy of it, getting the book, the material, the stretch goal, all that stuff, until January 15th, you can now. So go ahead and check it out. It's an interesting one. All right. Hey, guess what? We finished up with the news of the week. Sorry for Worm and Unfunny One, because apparently I have been unable to respond to you because my my chat that I tried to have show up was not that I popped out. So hi Worm, hi Unfunny One for joining me today. Anyway, let me finish up for the basics today. Anyway, thank you all for joining. We'll see you next week. I will see you technically. This will come up probably tomorrow morning before discussing Tabletop. I'm trying to get it up early tomorrow morning, so if you want to watch this before discussing Tabletop at 1 p.m., I'll try to have it up, or later on today if I can. I got a lot of work to do, get done and stuff like that, so we'll have to see. Otherwise, I'll be back next week, Tuesday, at the normal time of noon, I think I've been doing it at, for the next week of discussing or gathering the roll, and we'll see you there. And if you have any questions about stuff related to this for Discussing Tabletop, you can leave it at discussingtabletop@yahoo.com. You can send it to Twitter to both Diamondworm or Joe. You can, you know, just let me know in the comments of this when I put it up, or in the chat here, anything like that, or any questions about these just in general that even if you don't want us to discuss on Discussing Tabletop. But, alright, thank you for joining, everybody. I'll see you next week. We'll just wrap it up quick.